Do you have a location that no matter how many times you visit, despite the fact that you're convinced there should be an image to be had there, you always come away with nothing that you're happy with? Well, today I'm at my location for this. I've been here in the morning, I've been in the evening, I've been when it's been cloudy, I've been when it's been blue skies. And although I've got images from this location that I've worked out, the actual location itself, the main feature here, I've never really managed to get an image that I like. Will today be any different? I don't know. Come along and find out. If you enjoy the trip and you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Okay, made it up to the top of that hill, which is the first hill overlooking the hill a bit further down, if you like, which is the hill of Righteous or Righteous Yoma, and it's got a, I'll spin you around there, it's got a 16th century watchtower on the top. Now my plan is to start off, I'm going to go from this hill across onto the high point, which is looking down on that tower of Righteous Yoma, and then explore around there and see if there's an image to be had. It's about an hour and 45 minutes until sunset, so I've got plenty of time to explore, see if I can get some shots. There might be one from this angle, but I'm not loving it, but we'll have to see. Okay, I've made it up to the high point and the geodesic marker. That means I've got a view down that way to the watchtower. I've got views out along the coast all the way along there. Obviously the sun's still pretty high. I've also got views way over that way. That's Cabezon del Oro mountain, one of my favourite spots, and then whoop, over that way in the distance we can see the double peak of Puig Campana. To the left of that is the Sierra Aitana, and then over to the right we can see the buildings of Villaraigosa and Benidorm, and the Sierra Lada mountains out there behind Benidorm. So some cracking views from up here, but great views do not a great photo make. So I'm going to have a look around now and see if I can find a way to make an image here in this, what I guess is kind of my white whale of a location. I keep coming back to it and I keep failing. Right, I've come down to the tower itself and I've spent a few minutes exploring around the tower and sort of below the tower, up close, further away, just looking to see if there's any compositions that grab me. And whilst it's, you know, possible to get quite a nice shot of the tower, that's not really what I want. I want the tower in its location, and at the moment if I get up close to it, you can't actually even tell that it's by the sea. You know, this is a coastal watchtower on a big hill directly by the sea, because that's what it was for. It was to look out for Berber pirates. And I just feel it's lacking the story if I get up close to it. So I'm heading back up. You can perhaps see way up there behind me the geodesic marker. I'm heading back up that way to see if there's a better view that I can get from up above that will let me get that sense of place. But the problem with that is I'm going to have potentially a lot more sky in the scene, and I'm not sure that that's going to work with, you know, basically a pretty boring blue sky. Just over an hour still until sunset, so I've got a little bit of time, but the best of the light will probably be a little bit earlier, because without the clouds in the sky to do anything interesting, I'm going to be relying on probably side lighting on the tower to make it work. Okay, let's start climbing back up. Okay, I think I've got a scene here that might work. I think I was so focused on using a long lens for this that I didn't really think about the advantages of a wider angle. And I think the thing that often puts me off wide angle on a scene like this is how messy it can be with all sorts of shrubs and that growing around. But the scene that I've got set up here basically has the path that leads up to the tower comes in on the bottom, kind of on the right hand thirds, maybe a little bit towards the centre, and winds up, and then I've got the tower on the left hand thirds. Then there's a big area of sea to the right of the tower, and then the coast kind of wraps around and comes in from the right hand side of the frame. I'll probably crop this into a 16:9 crop to take out some of the sky. Now at the moment the sun's a bit high still, and that's kind of washing out the right hand side of the frame, but I'm still going to take a shot now, and I'm going to bracket exposures just to see how it looks, and then I'll probably hang around here for another 20 minutes or so as the sun drops a bit lower, and see if that flare coming in from the right hand side is going to be any better as the sun drops a bit lower. It's too wide angle to even consider a polarizer, because that will make a hell of a mess of the sky, and grads aren't going to help. So I just think maybe bracketing it will give me enough clarity in that right hand side of the sky to work. So this is the scene, if you can see it from here. So the trail comes in here, there's the tower on the hill, and importantly the base of the tower, the top of the hill, is roughly at the same height as the horizon. I think it may be just a little bit above, but I think that's okay. And you can probably see here we're getting a side lighting on the tower, then we've got the area of the sea and the coast coming in, so that might look okay. Let's get some exposure information up. You can see at the moment, you know, I mean 1/320th of a second. I'm going to bring it down a little bit because that right hand side is bright, so let's go 1/400th of a second and do a shot on that, which obviously looks pretty dark. And if I look at the histogram, there's no blown highlights on any of the channels. So although it's very bright on that right hand side, it's not losing any information. And then I think what I can do now is do another one And I think I'll do one at a 200th of a second. And you can see that's now blowing the highlights out on that far right hand side, which I would expect. And then to really get some shadow detail, I'm going to go for 1/100th of a second. So that's basically another stop. And that should make sure I've got plenty of shadow detail if I need it. And that might work as an image, but it's worth hanging on and waiting to see what happens when the sun gets a little bit lower. So I don't think I'm going to hang around until actual sunset, because I can already see that we're actually losing a little bit of the light on the hillside that I'm on and on the tower, and we're still half an hour before sunset, but we are just coming into golden hour, so that's okay. Good time to shoot. But we're getting some quite nice side lighting still on the tower. I don't know how well it's coming out in the video, but it looks quite nice. And I think what I'm going to do is just hang in there for another maybe 10 minutes or so, and then see what happens with the light, grab a shot when I think it looks the best, and then it'll be time to pack up and head off of the hill before it gets dark, actually, because it's a bit of a tricky trail back down. I think I'd prefer to do it in the daylight rather than in the dark. So if I have a look at my exposure now, I mean, the light's balanced out a lot more. I could probably shoot at 1/125th of a second. Let's just try it and see. Costs nothing to expose pixels. Okay, that's still blowing out the highlights in that corner very slightly. So probably 1/160th of a second will be fine. Yeah, no blown highlights there. And although the image looks very dark in that, you can see from the histogram there's no clipped shadows. But nevertheless, let's do one a stop brighter, which is going to give me plenty of shadow detail. Yeah, so we've never got blown highlights, but there's loads of shadow detail, so I've got no worries there about the shadow detail not being recoverable. You can see nice side lighting. One side of the tower is bright, the other side nice and dark. And it's nice and sharp as well. That's it, I think I'm going to pack up now. I've got to get up to the top of this hill behind me, across to the other hill over there, and then from there down to the car, all without getting lost. Well, not for long anyway, hopefully. Have I succeeded in finally getting an image from up here of this tower that I like? I don't know. It looks nice on the back of the camera, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that it looks good when I get it back on the computer. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like, share it on social media, leave me a comment down below. If you're new here and you've enjoyed this, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, so thank you very much. And until the next video, bye.